Hello, hello, hello. It is Monday, and I hope you all have had a lovely weekend. I have had I think a productive weekend. I actually have gone wedding dress shopping 2 weekends in a row now, and it and I have finally made a decision to go with one particular dress. So yeah, I feel kind of relieved that I've made this decision, and that I don't have to try on any more dresses because it has it's actually, yeah, it's quite time consuming booking all the appointments and then making going there, heading back, and like going in between two appointments. So like on Saturday I went back to two bridal shops that I went to and only to try on one dress from each shop. So it was basically between two dresses and I needed to try on both before I made a decision. So that's what I did, and so I have. So I'm very glad that that's over with, and I just need to actually made a decision, but I haven't put down the deposit. So that actually needs to be done this week. I am looking really tired. Oh my gosh! Like, look at my bags. I don't know if it's like half my makeup and half my bags, but not a good look today, but never mind. Is anybody here? If so, then please always say hi. And I love, love, love it if you could participate and ask questions. And as usual, I always like to do a bit of a sort of a talk about what's been going on lately. And so I just recorded a podcast episode, and that should be released, should be available to listen to now. And so today's podcast episode was about 3 things that lead to self-sabotage and 3 things that allow you to be self-serving. So tune into that podcast episode if you have time, and as usual, give me a review, subscribe to it. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, I hope you guys have had a good weekend and that you're enjoying your summer so far. And I think, have there been any new members? I think there were there any new members from the week before? I can't remember because I like to give a shout out. I can't believe it is July now, which is crazy. Yeah, no, last week I think I gave some shout outs, as far as I'm aware, but I think Louise and Amelia, hopefully you guys will watch this and see and hear your names. So let's get on with today's coaching session, which is about how perfectionism gets in the way of progress. So why am I doing this topic? So, well, I am for sure a perfectionist. One of my favorite quotes, right, is strive for progress, not perfection. We tend to get caught up in having like things just right, you know, I have to do this, I have to do that, etc., etc. And you know, or maybe it's like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And then so what happens is that when your mind sort of goes spinning, before you know what's happening, you know, you realize that, you know, something, you know, you're talking yourself out of something that needs to be done, and you're sort of getting into this like weird headspace where you're just not really doing anything, and you've sort of gotten into that space of like, oh, this needs to be perfect, or this needs to be this way, or this needs to be that way. So that's the reason why I'm talking about this. And I have for sure OCD tendencies, and this is what I mean by really perfectionism. You know, we all have mild OCD tendencies, you know, and I want to share with you something that I used to do when I was younger, and you guys are going to laugh at this. And I have always liked things to be really clean, really tidy, and I don't know where it began. I don't even know who I've really got it off, because I wouldn't say that my parents are like super like tidy people, or really like my mum like obviously cleans, and they like, you know, they like to keep things, um they're very active people, right? And so you know, they do keep their house kept and stuff. But as I was growing up, when they were working crazy hours, they didn't always have the time to make the house look really nice and really tidy. And this used to really bug me, especially when I used to go around other people's houses and everything was all just nice and tidy and things like that. And so maybe that's where I got it from. But yeah, so but like our house growing up was always, I guess, like to my standard, was messy, okay, and it used to just annoy me so much, like, and everything was everywhere, like nothing was put away, like things in there were like cupboards, but and like there were cupboards, but things weren't always going in the cupboards, and like blankets were not folded, and it was just like clutter everywhere, and it just used to really, really bug me, and like I felt like my head was like cluttered. And so yeah, it absolutely irritated me. My parents, you could say, are like, have probably been hoarders over the years, and I have drilled into them though, like, you know, from growing up and throughout the years, like I have drilled into them to be less hoarding about things. And to be fair, like I thought my parents were hoarders until I saw Alan's parents' place, and I was like, okay. And I thought my parents were bad, but they really aren't. And anyways, I'm obviously talking about my childhood and talking about my family home, and you know, more recently, I visited my parents and I walked into their garage, and my parents have a doorway through the garage, right? And they essentially have a storeroom with 2 chest freezers and a fridge, and that's like what their garage is. And so when I went back, it was literally crammed full of stuff again, like food, cleaning supplies, loads and loads of stuff. And you know, when I used to live with my parents, you know, which I did for a very long time, because I moved back home after having worked in London to set up my own business, and so I had always been the one that would be doing sort of a yearly clean out, or a bi-yearly spring clean of the garage. And but obviously when I recently moved back, I just realized, oh my gosh, this has not been getting done. And you know, and my parents live by themselves now. My sister's moved out, my brother's moved out, I've moved out, and so you know, the garage has literally gone back to this like cluttered state. And my parents, it's not like my parents don't have a lot of space. They have so much space. They own a 4-bed house, right? Detached house. So they've got loads of space. And there's only 2 of them. And I'm like, what do you have that you need to, like, what do you need? Like, why is there so much stuff, right? And you know, I know that, you know, even with 2 people, it's crazy how much stuff you accumulate, even in this house that I'm in right now. Like there's just so much stuff. And so sort of the main story that I really want to get to is that when I was younger, like I'm talking about high school age, and you know, obviously you get homework, you get coursework, and even when I was at college, right, you get loads of coursework. And I remember that every single time that I had some sort of big assignment or coursework or anything like that, I remember that I used to clean and tidy the house before I just started any assignment, started to sit down to do it, because I don't know what, I just felt like I had to, like there literally was like no, like I just, thinking back about it now, like I still remember that I just needed to like tidy up. I needed to like get things this way and get things sorted that way. And then I would be like happy and satisfied, so that I could, you know, not fidget when I sit down at the desk to work. And, you know, all these sort of little things that I felt like I had to do before I could settle. And, and you're probably laughing at me about this, but it's true. It's really true. And obviously over the years, I have worked hard to, I guess, reduce some of these OCD tendencies. And, you know, and I know I have worked hard, because there was one particular thing that my sister and dad used to never do, which was they never used to fold a blanket away after they had used it. They would just like leave it like crumpled and lying all over the sofa after they had used it at the end of the night. And then I'd come the next day or wherever it was, if I wanted to sit on the sofa or something, it would just be like I'd be the one like folding it and putting it, you know, on the top of the sofa away so that I could sit down or something. And but like over sort of, I guess, the last year especially, I realized that I have let things go. Like I can leave a blanket unfolded now. Like it doesn't bother me so much. And so, yeah, I have come a really long way from my adolescent years where I feel like I have to always tidy mess. I have to always tidy things. And, you know, and it's been really hard because it really goes against like what I've been used to and the things that I like. And so, you know, and you know, the point that I really want to make is that, you know, as we grow older, maybe some of these tendencies can fade, but I don't think they always fade away. Like they never go away. Or, you know, maybe as we get older, we also probably pick up new forms of like OCD tendencies that we probably may not have been aware of. And sort of these tendencies may be like sort of the rhythm of the rhythm of the things that we've got used to. For example, like we feel like we have no choice but to do the laundry on this day. We feel like we have no choice but to do the vacuuming on this day, or we feel like we have to do this and have to do that. And sometimes these sort of tendencies actually spill over into procrastination territory. And this is what I mean by like perfectionism gets in the way of progress, because, you know, there's a difference between, I guess, like with perfectionism and OCD tendencies and having things in a certain specific way and doing things in this way and have to do things on that time, on that day. You know, it's so easy to then like concentrate on the things that really don't matter, but don't reflect our self-development goals. And so, you know, like, you know, procrastination can even like, you know, you're more likely to, I guess, like wanting to do the laundry, to do the washing up, to get this done and get this done, than actually do the hard stuff, okay, which you really don't really want to do, which is like exercising, you know, the other hard stuff, which is like meal planning and meal prepping, you know. And I know that it's so easy where you'll be able to say, oh, I have no choice but to do this and I have no choice to do that, but rather than do the things that you have to do for your personal goals, to reach your personal goals. And so I think that one of the reasons, or one of the parts, or the reasons why I felt like I had to clean and tidy the house before I sat down to do my coursework or my assignments was actually a procrastination tactic. Thinking about it now, I think it was like an unconscious procrastination tactic 100% for sure. Like I probably didn't realize I was doing it on purpose, but now I think about it, like, you know, maybe it was like my brain and my body telling me like, no, I don't want you to do the hard work, so like just go distract yourself, go do this. And you know, and so what I want you to take away from today's session is that we spend so much of our time either going over things in our head until we can find the perfect solution, or we get stuck with making sure things are right, you know, and we get steered off track with things that are just not that important, you know, but they seem important. Or they seem urgent, okay, but they're not really important. You know, like I said, like things like the washing up and the laundry, yes, they have to be done, okay. They seem urgent because, you know, you might not have clothes to wear if you don't do enough laundry. You might not have cutlery and plates and crockery to use if you don't wash up regularly. Yeah, so they seem urgent, but they aren't really important if you think about it, because they're not getting you to your personal goals. You know, and so I want you to ask yourself, are you spending too much time doing those kinds of things that are causing you to procrastinate, you know, rather than spending your time and your effort on like the hard things like working out and eating healthfully towards your physique goals. And so, you know, as brides, we are so obsessed about wanting to find the perfect dress. But even if you do that, you know, it won't matter if you are not comfortable in your own skin, in your own body. And I want you to go away and think about how much time you use on trying to make try and make or do things perfectly, because, you know, do you have any tendencies that you think that are stealing your time? Do you have any things that are any procrastination tactics that are stealing your energy, your chance to becoming dress fitting ready? And, you know, one thing that I really want to address is that, you know, we all want our weddings to be perfect, and, you know, and we will spend, you know, a small fortune on our wedding, but so much of your wedding is centered around you. Okay, your visions of what it will look like on the day, and you know, and so if you have been, you know, if you have been like going at it alone and you've been hitting plateaus and not getting the results that you want, you know, and you're struggling to keep yourself motivated, you know, are you really getting closer to where you want to be? You know, time is flying by so fast. And so, you know, and I want you to think about, are you in a position right now, okay, where, you know, if let's say a year has already passed and since you got engaged, and you haven't made enough progress, you know, to fit into your dress fittings, or you're really struggling, okay, to find a dress that will make you feel comfortable, make you feel confident, then I really want you to think about, you know, what procrastination tactics are stopping you from really making true progress. Okay, what are the perfectionism things, the OCD tendencies that are getting in your way? Because there is always things that you can do to prevent yourself from hitting plateaus, and there are things that will help you to keep yourself accountable. So you just need to find those solutions, and obviously I'm here to help you do this. So, you know, keep watching these videos, these sessions, keep you know, listen to my podcast, and you know, even if you are ready, then come have a chat with me on my dress fitting ready call, because I'd always love to give content and give value there, and sort of give you some tips on how you can, okay, what habits that you are probably doing that are killing your dress fitting goals right now. And so let's wrap this up for now. I wanted to keep this session quite short and sweet. I have been doing a lot of talking lately, and I can already feel my throat going a bit dry. And so I hope that you have joined this session and have found it useful, because perfectionism isn't just about, I guess like people who would call themselves perfectionists. I think there is perfectionism tendencies in all of us, OCD tendencies in all of us, that are killing your goals, making you procrastinate when really you do not have the time to do so. Okay, you do not have the luxury of time, especially if your wedding is coming up, and time is just flying by. I don't even know how it's July, like I said already. Yeah, so I will love you and leave you for now. Have a lovely, wonderful rest of the week, and I hope to touch base with some of you lovely members during the week as usual, and reach out to me anytime you want, if you need a bit of motivation, a bit of accountability. Yeah, definitely get in touch, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.